this idea of self-reflection. It's this idea of just really understanding what's happening in your body, both in a somatic physical level, right? Do I feel tension somewhere? Is my back hurting? Like tuning in, observing yourself as the person that you are, right? This body that you have, and also though tuning into your emotions, right? How are you feeling in the moment? I know a lot of you, maybe at team meetings, you have a check-in at the beginning. How are people doing? Like I said, I was with a group of 15 for the last few days. And, in the morning after our first day, I checked in with everybody. How did you feel when we ended yesterday? I didn't want to know how they felt after their night at the restaurant and the rooftop bar, but how did you feel at 4 yesterday? And, we all really spent some time thinking about, how did I feel? And one person's like, well, I was hungry. Another person was, I was really energized. Another person was, I was curious, So it's a great technique for you to use with others, but we don't often do it enough with ourselves, right? Really asking ourselves, how am I doing right now? How am I feeling? And so there's journaling to do this. There's a lot out there now, a lot of research and a lot of apps and so forth to help with meditation. So how can you bring quiet? When I think of time in, I just think of quiet. Now you don't have to like zen out and bliss out and all of that kind of stuff, but just to bring some time for yourself. I like thinking of, that the Staples easy button, right? So instead of saying easy, it just says pause. And I'll think of like hitting the pause button. Again, maybe it's just for a few moments. And if you can do it throughout your day, really there's a lot of benefit to that. But a lot of people maybe do it in the morning or they'll do it at the end of the day. A lot of people might actually write out and journal and think about that. So I'm going to give a chance to apply and practice this right now, which I'm guessing you guys figured might be coming when you saw the inhale and exhale. So now remember, I'm on a stage and I want to fall off. So I'm going to keep my eyes open. But I'm going to ask everybody to close their eyes for a moment and just sit back in your chair, sit comfortably. And I can see if your eyes are open or closed, so I'll stare you down. No. So just close your eyes for a minute. We're not going to sleep, but we are going to just check. And I'm just asking you to check in with yourself. It's been a fun, busy few days. So start with what we call a body scan, where you just really start kind of at the top and how are you feeling in your face and your neck and your shoulders. And then just scan and move all the way down until eventually, you don't have to rush, but all the way down to your toes and just see where you might be holding some tension, see how you're feeling in your body first. And then I'm going to ask you to imagine, we're going to do a combination of this connecting with nature. I'm going to ask you to visualize in your mind's eye a nature scene that is one that you resonate with. So for some of us, we love the ocean and the beach and our feet in the sand. Others of us might be in a meadow, or others of us might be in the forest under the big pine trees. Just find yourself somewhere in nature that brings you joy. And stay there for a moment. And then we're going to just take 3 breaths together, and I'll guide you through those. And when you inhale, you want to think of your stomach like a balloon. So as you inhale, actually fill up your stomach like a balloon, and as you exhale, you're going to deflate that balloon. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths together. So slowly, with your eyes still closed, inhale. And now exhale. And let's inhale again together. And exhale. And one last time, inhaling, filling up as full as you can. And then maybe letting that all out, opening your mouth even a little bit and breathing out. And then just slowly blink your eyes open. So our breath is a tool that we can access at any time, in any place, in any moment. And you don't need to spend an hour meditating. You don't even need to spend 20 minutes. If you were to breathe 3 breaths, even to sit for 1 minute like we just did, it regulates your body in a way and your brain that really will serve you for whatever might be next. So one practical thing that a lot of my clients will do is as they transition, you're often going from like one subject topic meeting to a different one. And there's not always time for a good transition, right? To kind of switch gears. So doing this three deep breaths doesn't take that long right before you go into whatever is next is really a great way to signal that something new and different is coming for yourself. So again, I'm not challenging you to pick up a whole new meditation habit. I'm just challenging you to pay attention to how you're feeling in your body and to use your breath to help. If you start to feel anxious, if you start to feel overwhelmed, if you start to feel not quite, or if you start to feel angry and you start to feel you need to regulate an emotion in some way, your breath is the best tool that you can use, right? And maybe you step outside into some fresh air if it's the emotion of anger that's rising up. But we all have them, right? So the idea is not to ever feel emotion, it's to identify them when it's happening. And that's what mindful is. It's identifying what's coming up and then choosing the best reaction, right? Maybe not the reaction that flows straight from the emotion, but like, oh, I'm feeling anger right now. Maybe it's not the best time to have this conversation.